The Giants catching 7 and a hook, with a total at 48 at Lincoln Financial Field. So again, when we're taking a look at how you guys view this, Pete, what are you thinking here, given that these two teams faced in Week 18, but under different circumstances?
I just think that this is a Giants team that has a plan to attack that defense. And that defense is great. Don't get me wrong. They were 2 away from having the record for NFL sacks in a season. They had 4 guys with double-digit sacks. That's the first time that's ever happened in the league, and that's incredible. But I think Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka are great at what they do. They scheme things up. And I think Daniel Jones really had to go out on the road and win a playoff game, and now he's starting to feel himself. It's a big moment for him. I think they'll score. And we don't know what Jalen Hurts is right now. We really don't. You don't know how healthy he is. Can he drive the ball down the field? Is he going to run? Is he going to be free to get out like he was before the injury? Those are all questions that are unanswered. So for that reason, I'm going to take the Giants plus the points here in this game.
Look, the last time these two teams played, the Giants weren't even playing the starters.
No.
And they were still able to keep it close. And
they got blown out in the one game.
They got blown out in the earlier game of the season when obviously everything was on the line. But this is a different Giants team at this point in time. Defensively, they're playing much better. Daniel Jones and really him as a part of the rushing attack is what I think is going to be ultimately what keeps the Giants in this game. We saw it versus Minnesota last week. And I think between him and Hurts, if you look at both quarterbacks, obviously we know Jalen Hurts is able to carry the rock and hurt you with his legs. How willing is he going to be to do that with the shoulder injury and knowing that he could potentially take on more hits and make it worse at this point? I know it's the playoffs, you want to sell out and all that, but they have greater aspirations. And I think for Hurts, I wonder if he's going to be a little hesitant to be able to take off and run, as opposed to Daniel Jones playing with house money, man.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the season he's had after they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, he is absolutely blown away everyone. He's at a minimum is going to get franchise tagged, if not offered a longer-term deal that's going to make him a lot of money. So kudos to him, but he will use his legs. Saquon Barkley will be impactful in this game, even though the Phillies' rush defense has improved since the addition of Sue and Joseph. I think it's just a tighter game. You know, divisional matchups, these guys have seen each other now 3 times this year. Very familiar. This is another one where I think it goes the under, and I'll take the 7.5 points.
It's amazing what a quarterback could do when his offensive line is improved, and that offensive line is improved. There is one concern with the offensive line. Evan Neal, since he's been back from his injury, has struggled a little bit. And how will they attack him? You're Philadelphia. They can, like we said, they can really rush the passer. That's a concern there.
I also think there's something that Brian Daboll has excelled at, you know, since he got to Buffalo and after he kind of went through a car wash from New England and his time in Alabama, is playing to the strengths of his quarterback and being able to really, you know, put him in a position to succeed. That's what you've seen from Daniel Jones this year. He seems so much more confident with his reads, his progressions, his throws. And when it's not there, taking off and using his legs. And by the way, like, this is a game where you're probably going to see Brian Daboll take a chance here or there. I mean, he's not bashful about it. It's the way they've played the entire season. If there's a 4th and short, you better expect the Giants to go for it.
Let's end it with Pete. You said questions still about Jalen Hurts. So even though he played in Week 18, you don't think you saw enough to what we might see at Jalen Hurts?
He didn't look great.
He did not look like the same guy. He just didn't. He looked like there was something still bothering him. Now, he's had more time, and that could help him. But again, that's still the unanswered question. We don't know what he is going into this game.
I'll button it up with this from a betting perspective here. This thing opened up at 7. A lot of the money, majority of the money is on New York, and yet the money and the line has gone Philly's way, at least by a hook to 7.5, just to give you some insight on that.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.